A lot of people ask us all the time, you know, why did you choose to adopt these children? Why did you choose to adopt so many children? You know, how do you do it? How big is your house? You know, how do you afford everything that they need? It wasn't really a plan that Tom and I had that we would get married and we would have 17 children. It actually isn't really a plan even now. It's what brings us joy. It's what brings us purpose. And Tom and I really believe that we're here on this earth, that the real reason why we're here is to be of service. My husband Tom and I met as high school sweethearts. So we've been together since we're 16, and now we're almost 60 years old.
Oh, I know, big boy.
We had 3 biological children when we were really young. I had infertility problems, so we adopted our daughter Allison from Korea, and then I was lucky enough we had 2 biological sons. When we got to be about 37, Tom had a cancer scare and he had a tumor that needed to be removed. He went in and he had the surgery, and it turned out to be a benign tumor. We just started to talk about the gift, you know, of this time for he and I to still be together. And what did we want to do with this gift? What was it that we would have regretted if we didn't have this time? And it was to adopt one more child. We really decided we wanted another child.
Nice, I love it. That was all glued?
Voila!
Voila! Voila!
L-O-N.
My special thing.
For about 8 years, we fostered a lot of children. We wanted to adopt everybody that came, every child. Most of them, when they came to us, were born addicted to some kind of illegal drug. My first foster child was born addicted to heroin, so that was my first experience. I had no experience with children with special needs. We just realized we had such a love for it. I mean, the therapies, the meetings, the specialists, it's hard to explain. It's just for us, it's so rewarding, and we're really good at it. We really are. I mean, I have the self-confidence to say that this is a love. This is just something that we both feel really deeply about. Here you go. Okay. Here's the baby. Oh, Nikki. You're so good to the baby. Thank you. Thank you for such good behavior. It does give back to us. I'm not an angel. I'm not a saint. People they can't understand it. And I wouldn't have been able to understand it if I didn't live this life. Everyone's life is going to end, you know. We're all going to go, and we don't know if it's going to be tomorrow or if it's going to be in 10 years, but I know, and the gift my children give me is I know whenever that day comes, I will go knowing I did something to make the world a little bit better.
When I got to know him at 14, in the school he was 6'1". By the time he was moving to my house, he was 6'3". He stopped at 6'8". We think he's done. I have a lot of people asking me if my husband's black, so my response is his father is black. So it's obvious to some people that we're adopted. We are adopted because I feel like I've been adopted too. He adopted me and I adopted him. Before I knew Carl would be the young man I would adopt, I knew that through foster care, a child could come to me, any gender, any ethnic background. It didn't matter to me, but I didn't want them to be in a community where it would matter in the community. I didn't want them to be, oh, that's that kid from that house over there.
I live in Bay Shore, New York, with my mother. I was in school. I just started high school. I was getting into problems with teachers and other fellow students. I really didn't have a lot of friends in the city. I was very used to not making strong connections. because I moved around a lot, so it was no point in me actually making strong connections. And Nancy was a social worker of that clinic, and we started sessions. At first, I didn't think nothing of it. I thought she was just another person to talk to in life.
There were very, very unique circumstances in Carl's case in terms of parental rights and court papers and legal processes, which are very unusual, that I couldn't adopt him right away. But we chose to wait to a more convenient time, and we did it when he was 21, the legal adoption. But he was my son from the beginning.
This was an easy transition for me to leave the city with a fresh new start and new school. I decided to reinvent myself when I went to school. I became out. I came out as a gay man fully, but there were times it was hard. We did challenge each other a lot, but at the same time, we also made each other grow.
His family is of Caribbean origins. He's a rice-based kid. I'm pasta and noodles. You would think that wouldn't be a big deal, but I have never eaten so much rice as I have in the last 8 years since he's been my kid, and I think he would say the same about potatoes and pasta. We laugh over that, but a simple thing like having food that you can agree on is a definite challenge. He and I seem to bond, though, as a family very, very quickly. I have no question that he knows I'm his mother. He doesn't call me mom, except sometimes when he's tired or wants something. I get mom or mommy. It's sweet. But there's not a person in his life that does not know I'm his mother. Everybody knows I'm his mother. Children are entitled to parents, and it's not his place to be thankful that I jumped into his life. It's more my place to feel thankful that he came into mine.
Two and a half years ago, we got a postcard in the mail. It was a foster to adopt program from Colombia, and just the description of it, I thought it was a totally different feeling than wanting to adopt a young child, add to your family kind of thing. It was more of a, oh my God, there are all these kids out there who are living in orphanages, who have no parents, and they're going to age out of the system, and they're going to hit the streets. I almost felt like it was a calling. I felt like it was, if you can do this, you should do this.
These are thumbs. These are thumbs. Like that.
Realizing how little we could actually communicate was so frustrating. And we realized, okay, here we are, this is going to be our life for a while, and that was really hard. How do you say cousin in Spanish? Prima? Prima? Cousin. Cousin. Some of the other people that we know that did this, we'd met at meetings and stuff, they're fluent in Spanish. So, if you're fluent in Spanish, this is 1,000 times easier. We got our own, routine going with mostly charades, I think, and and we always have a Spanish-English dictionary immediately to our right or left. We use Google Translate all the time, and he's picking up a lot of English. He's very afraid to speak it yet.
Tengo dos hermanos, están en Minnesota, están con una nueva familia. Los adoptaron, yo tengo una nueva hermana. Tengo nuevos amigos que hablan español y inglés.
Our biggest concern, and it's been, a reality, is that he misses his brothers terribly, and they miss him. He's taken and cut out all these little pictures of his friends and put them all over his wall, which I think makes him feel much more comfortable. Because you could feel how much they loved each other. They were brothers and sisters, in the orphanage. They just were, So he grew up with them. Telling him that we'll go back as a family brought a lot out of him. It gives him something to look forward to. The fact that he'll see his brothers this summer will give him something to look forward to.
A mí me gusta la familia, me gusta montar bicicleta, me gusta pasear a los perros.
Obviously, you know, we're in our 50s. We don't have to do this. We could, you know, just go forward, have our daughter go to college and have our life, and that's it. It wasn't so much I had this burning desire to do this. It was more, I don't think I can not do this. Sometimes I see him looking at me, and I know he's appreciative of what's going on here. And last night in the car, he said to me, and all in English, he said, sometimes, he didn't say it like this, but sometimes you say I don't appreciate things, but I do. I appreciate everything. Toto, he kept saying, Toto, everything. I appreciate everything. And I was just like, oh my God. Oh my God.